What's up, Isolation Nation? I have to say, I'm bloody excited for this next guest. He's very, very impressive, and don't know how a small timer like me managed to get him on. But anyways, we'll rock into it. So this guy, he's a multi-exit entrepreneur, Fortune 100 content consultant, global keynote speaker, award-winning author, LinkedIn's top 3 most influential New Zealanders, Metro Magazine's top 100 innovators of the year. And on top of all that, he got nominated for New Zealander of the year. He's a tech, media, entrepreneurship mogul and powerhouse. Welcome to the stage, Robett Hollis.
What's up, dog?
How are you, man?
Busy, but
so good to have you here. Yeah, it's you gave me a problem when I normally fill out a description of the people that come on the show, and I had to select what to put in your description because I was going over the word limit. You're one crazy man.
Thanks, bro.
Like for those people that have been living under a rock, please let them know what you're all about, your story, the quick 5 of who you are.
Yeah, man. Whānau from Aotearoa, East Coast Gisborne, born on a farm in Dargaville till I was 4, Fiji till I was 9, and then Christchurch. Grew up in Aranui, Christchurch, company Aranui Ventures. I was really into sport, played basketball for New Zealand, soccer for New Zealand, gone to snowboarding, and then kind of, turn my world into a crazy journey of professional snowboarding. Traveled around the world, did all that amazing stuff. Got ranked number 1 in New Zealand. Got a silver medal at the World Finals. Used my money to start a few different businesses, and done some cool stuff since. I've kind of been a bit of a, I guess, renegade in some circles, but at the same time I've just kind of been just doing my thing, and it's worked out all right. And then now I spend my time between San Francisco and Auckland, and at the moment I'm in San Fran, so I'm 5 hours ahead of you right now. So it's 3 o'clock. It's almost whiskey time, but I won't jump in too soon.
Good on you. How's things been in America? It's pretty gnarly, like what we're seeing on the news.
Yeah, I think per capita, it's got the worst response rate in the world by the sounds of things. Certain pockets have just been demolished. There's been a big lack of preparation for a while, and now unfortunately people are paying the price, which sucks. San Francisco was, I think, the first in America to pull the trigger on home quarantine.
Okay.
And so the Bay Area went into lockdown, and then California, I think it was one of the first ones. And so actually we're in week 4 now. It might be week 4.
Oh, so you're 1 week ahead of us.
Might be 2 weeks, yeah. So it might be week 5 maybe. So anyway, yeah. So we did that, and the reason why I was going to fly back to New Zealand, I had flights planned. I was going to land 4 hours after they put the lockdown for quarantine. I was like, stuff it. I'll stay here. And then 2 days later, we got put down, lockdown, and then now New Zealand's got the mandatory one. So either way, I think I was going to get stuck somewhere. So, but it's good. Wifey's here. Kids here, kids safe, got a bit of space, and so it's a-okay. But no, I appreciate being the show, Jase. Awesome.
Cool. Cheers for being here. Before we get into like the gnarly tech, media, entrepreneurship stuff, what's been your favorite thing about this lockdown period? Maybe for you personally, for time to sit and relax and think about what your next moves are. What's been the top thing?
The top thing was, whenever I physically wasn't in the room with someone, I felt like I was losing because my energy wasn't there. As soon as everyone went remote, I had a moment where I realized that the world had gone flat and it will be this way forever again. So then I actually realized.
What do you mean by that? When you say
gone
that?
Flat, like the rules had changed and everyone had the same set of rules. You're in a house, you've got an internet connection and a laptop. It doesn't matter if you're in Afghanistan or New York or Whakatane, So it went flat, and it felt like an even playing field. And then as soon as that clicked in my head, I then realized, well, actually, if it's gone flat and if it's an even playing field for everyone, and we're talking about online tech, media, content, commerce, creativity, I'm like, this is what I do. So weirdly enough, I felt kind of really empowered, even though I physically wasn't in the same room. So instead of being worried that I'd be losing on the one person, I felt like I was winning for 1,000,000. So in a weird way, my mind just totally flipped. So that was probably the coolest thing. And now I think it's going to stay that way forever. And as you can see with all the way all businesses have now gone and everything is, I feel the rules have changed. So in a weird way, my logistics that have been already very fluid. I mean, I've been back and forth to the States for, 17 years now and traveled around we're doing whatever for 20 is, I think the game's changed. And I feel I've got the skill sets to play in this new world of where we're at, which is quite exciting. So that's probably the big thing. It was just a mental shift for me.
Neat. Good on you. You've been talking to a lot of smart people in a lot of industries recently, from big corporates, banks, media industry, events, what have you. What are the macro takeaways that you've taken from all those chats?
Leadership, lead with love, being kind. Weak leaders are getting exposed. Strong cultured businesses are going to have a tighter tribal glue to keep them commercially strong for the next, and a way higher retention rate for the next 5-10 years. Forced adoption of cloud technologies being now shoved down every single business's throat, so they have to that is just how it is now. So it's probably sped up billions of dollars worth of infrastructure that would have taken years of unnecessary projects into something that happened within 2 days. So I think we're now on a new set of train tracks for business.
Do you think that will go to business as usual once this all blows over? Or do you think there'll be a new normal?
No. Some parts yes, some parts no.
What parts?
Well, I think we've only seen the first wave of lockdown. We haven't seen the second wave of restructures, consolidations, roll-up, redundancies, and shutdowns, right? So let's not be naive to the fact of, even if you're an average business and you lose all revenue for 2 months, you pop back out of it and you have 20% of the people walking through the door again. If it was just regular business and you lost 80% of your customers, you'd still go out of business. So just because you're back in action doesn't mean that everyone's going to be back in action. So we're going to have a big, gnarly second wave, I feel, coming, and that's going to be pretty aggressive. So unemployment will rise. There'll be a lot of M&A activity and roll-ups happen with people with money. There's going to be some big fish rolling around to try and save jobs and keep people thinking. So that will happen. And then for an average business, if you are through, I think, just being able to embrace technology to try and create more efficiencies in your business and just create a new way of working is going to be pretty important as well. So those are probably the two, I'd say.
Yeah, I heard something interesting from David Seymour, the ACT leader. He said because a lot of businesses will shut down, the government might have to come in and save the day, and there'll be this shift from a lot of private sector roles and responsibilities moving into public sector. So what's your thoughts on that?
Dude, I'm not in politics, but I think, say with media, I've probably got a take on it with media.
Yeah.
If your business model is already stuffed and you're already screwed, and if your argument is this isn't fair because Facebook exists, I don't think you deserve to be in business. You should have a better business model for the world we're living in, and consumers aren't going to change. And people, just because you don't think it's fair that they should or shouldn't be on Facebook or Google or whatever, like, yes, I understand there's tax implications, but just like blaming that and expecting the government to bail out any company based on where the consumers' demand and actually habits are, I don't. That doesn't make sense. It's just delaying the inevitable. So yeah, man, that's probably where my biggest take on it would be. But I'm definitely not a I'm not. I mean, shit, you know me well enough, Jase. I'm not in politics. I'm not in any of that sort of stuff. I've just got my sort of take on it. What I would hope is that any government intervention doesn't jump in just to put a band-aid on something which is going to die anyway. That would be just a pure waste of money. I do hope things aren't potentially that.
Yeah, Do you think there'll be this new rise of entrepreneurship as people might get redundant, or businesses fall into hardship, or it's just too risky to jump into entrepreneurship at the moment for a lot of people?
So half the people I talk to say yes, and half the people I've talked to said no. People would say no because they don't want the risk of zero when they've got the security of less than normal, which makes sense, especially if you've got, a family and you've got maybe got a mortgage, bits and pieces as well. So I would see that. And then yes, for those that see opportunity, that can be brave to go and take it. So it's all going to be dependent on the mindset of the individual.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be industries that, I guess, get flooded with people that see opportunities, and a lot of them will just be in for quick money and then
No,
lose?
because there won't be I don't think they'll have the cash to do it.
Okay, but there'll be industries that pop, do you think, from all this?
Of course. I mean, anytime there's mass change in consumer and customer behavior, and there's attention going to different places, that always brings eyeballs and opportunity. It's going to be there's a game at the moment. Someone tell me, like, between the millionaires and the billionaires. The millionaires are pushing pause and just going to ride this thing out and chill on a yacht for a year. And then the billionaires are coming into play because all of a sudden they can buy a whole bunch of shit real cheap and they can start to make the actual power moves. And instead of doing a roll up for 100 million and then turning something that's 500 into a billion, that's where they play it. And instead of a millionaire maybe buy something with 3 and sells it for 4. It's just there's different people that are playing right now. There's a few games. There's the employees, which are trying to creep security. There's the millionaires who are probably bigger sort of business owners that are probably pushing pause and get through the storm. And then there's the billionaires, the big dogs that are coming up just to, like, okay, now I can actually play, which makes sense. And you can think of it two ways. One, they could be seen as predators to come into a market to buy under distressed assets to try and to build out, or actually that's the only route that they can have to actually try and save these jobs, which helps the people back at the bottom anyway. So you need to see it from both sides, and there's always more than one lens on it.
Two sides to every coin, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You live and breathe in the media world. I don't know too much about it, but give everyone just an insight into what's happening at the top and how the landscape's changing.
Yeah, I mean, so
especially in New Zealand.
Yeah, totally. So, in a nutshell, there isn't enough money circulating the traditional media houses that have kept them afloat and that have made them succeed through the 90s and 2000s. The reason why is because of digital consumption. The reason why is because social media. The reason why is because of smartphones. The reason why is for all of that. And so what's happened now is there's been this tension building between the way it was done to the way it is now. And unfortunately, the underpinning thing which has made a lot of people lose faith in big media companies is their revenue model, which is around, if they get 1,000 eyeballs to a article, they get $20 or $10 or whatever it is from advertisers. So the more people that go to the page, the more people, the more money, the more revenue they make. Well, if you've got a story around Prince Harry stubs his toe in a bikini, or you have some inside scoop for something that's going to happen with council in your local area, whatever it is, the reality is the clickbait mentality has changed journalism because the business model behind it is actually funded and influenced more and more of that behavior, which means now people keep losing trust because all of a sudden it becomes this world of clickbait to go to, which is also damaging because then on social platforms, when fake news comes up, people with traditional powers have to try and fight that using either government money or advertisers' money, whatever else as well. So in many ways, essentially, their models are stuffed. No one's been able to fully crack it, and even those that have done pretty well are still asking viewers for donations, and that was never the case before digital. So, but yeah, anyone who blames the way it is being done is probably deserves not to be in business, because that's
business. You've got to adapt.
I mean, if you try to tell every single New Zealander, hey, delete Facebook, Google, YouTube, all off your phone because it's not fair on a newspaper, I'm pretty sure they're going to tell you to get stuffed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it's tough though, because it's both sides. Because then you need the journalism. Like New Zealand needs journalism, New Zealand needs media, but get a flipping model that works. And I don't think anyone's fully cracked it yet, which is why, the moves have been happening at the moment.
Yeah. What are your predictions a couple of years down the line, do you think? How's it going to change? I guess, how will we consume that valuable content? What's in the news? Will it all shift to social, do you think?
It pretty much already is.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, everyone, that's the stream of life for most is on social,
And it'll just go to the private sector, you reckon?
I mean, TVNZ's funded by government. I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sweet. So moving along to tech, what do you think will happen in the New Zealand ecospace? Have you heard any moves that people are making? Anything?
Heaps of moves. Totally. Yeah,
Cool.
100%. I mean, at a macro level, if you zoom all the way out, I think they keep saying, New Zealand's technology is the second biggest export for this nation, and if you don't have trade, if you don't have tourism, the potential number one really, really fast could be tech. So maybe the play would be, how do you quadruple down on getting global exports that are weightless and scalable and digital to bring in revenue to the country? That makes total sense. The problem then is like, well, how do you double down on that? What does that look like specifically? Where do these clusters of people come from? So I think technology has a huge opportunity to potentially be able to, create great new solutions for the problems which people have felt through this, plus also better products globally. And if we get open for business as a brand campaign for New Zealand, that's going to bring a lot of attention to New Zealand from other countries that are still in lockdown but want to get moving and want to get action. So I think tech could be a huge savior for New Zealand here, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And move away from the agriculture and tourism base to a more tech base, you reckon?
Well, tourism's massive because there's been people here, but if there's no people here right now, there's no tourism.
Yeah.
Or there'll be local. Like, I think that people are going to want to back the locals a lot more. Like, I really feel that, which that gets me excited. But it will go, hyper local, regional, national, and then it'll go international. The same way we've gone from level 4 down to 1, we'll go from local back to global.
That's a nice way of putting it. What moves are you thinking about making in the next 5 years? You're a super interesting guy. I know there's a lot on your mind all the time, and you sort of play this chess game in your mind. You think of yourself at one point, but you're never satisfied with where you're at, because you're always thinking bigger, which is why we love you. What have you got in store for the world in 5 years' time, do you think?
Mate, I'm not going to say shit. So I'm not saying shit.
Not even a little bit?
No.
A little hint?
Nope.
The areas you're going to play in?
Nope.
No.
No, anything that I've ever been seen publicly, it's always the actual moves that happen commercially, they're sometimes 2 or 3 years in the making. Like the Switch thing was 5 years in the making and no one knew about it.
Yeah.
The flipping Frontside thing was 2 years. The Collab thing, all these things,
I
they are like, so as much, rah, whatever, as I do publicly, no one knows what, and I think it needs to keep, I would rather go super loud with, thought and chat and value and banter publicly, and then just have my ninja shit, just do my ninja shit.
Yeah.
And when things drop, it's like, what the fuck, what? And it's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst of saying, publicly going, I'm going to do this commercially, this is blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah.
And then it doesn't work out for some reason.
And I've had fails, that's for sure. But I sit at this funky intersection of, I think about it in kind of circles where there's, kind of content, there's creativity, there's commerce, there's community, there's culture, all these kind of like 5 kind of bubbles. And those are kind of my 5, and that's where I like to play. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Totally respect that and understand it. What do you think? Where were we? what do you think that the entrepreneurship model, right? We've heard a lot of like rah-rah in the background with YouTube, and like you see these entrepreneurs on boats, and I can sell you this course, and I can like it sucks, but it's all in the background, and it's all this hocus pocus, right? Do you think we'll come into like a maturity of entrepreneurship where that doesn't happen? Like it's very easy to see through it. But do you think that it'll fall by the wayside in like 3 years, 4 years time, whatever the time scale is, where we never see that kind of stuff again, or it'll always be brewing in the background?
Hustlers are always going to hustle. Scammers are always going to scam. It's just going to have different looks.
Yeah.
So the wave that you saw was, I'll get you to the #1 Google SEO. Then it was, I will get you guaranteed leads. Then I'll click funnel this. Then I'll do that. And now I'll sell you a course for a course. Then I'll flip and I'll be the guru of gurus and a mentor to the mentors. It's like the way that most of that scam shit works is they make their money from selling $5,000 online courses about how to sell courses. And some
coaching coaches.
But I know a couple that are flipping legit, and
yeah,
I do. But the problem is, a lot of them are just faking it and blah. And there's no cheat code to 5 figures a month without doing anything. That whole passive thing is just such a flipping myth. For the most part, of it's like, there's no 10-set automated system for you to just instantly make money and do absolutely nothing and not have to work your ass off and go hustle. Like there are great strategic moves you could do with partnerships that do thing, but just like that wave of just scammy things just irks me so bad. That
because I imagine it's more prevalent than ever with with what's going on in the world, and people are scared, right?
Yep, they want it easy, but then also all these other kind of muppets are at home set up all virtual. And so what do you think they're going to do? They're going to try and hustle, and it's like the new telemarketer scammers, but it's all virtual marketer scammers. It's the same thing. They don't last. They never last. There's no legacy. There's no longevity. It's use and abuse. It's transactions. There's no relationships. It's like whatever. It's blah. It just irks me because they don't last, bro. They're playing checkers, not chess.
Yeah. Explain that one for the people that don't know you. Checkers versus chess.
Checkers versus chess. Like checkers is you do this, I do that. I'm very reactionary. You do this, I do that. Chess is, okay, this wave is coming. These are the opportunities. I'm going to go here, then I'm going to do this. And the opportunity I see 5 moves down the line is that. And then when you're playing chess or checkers, it's totally different. So you can see right now, all these crew are playing checkers, exploiting their brand, exploiting their relationships, trying to exploit the community into transactions. They lose because as soon as you put 1 million people through that, as soon as word's out, you're done. Game over. You're stuffed.
Yeah. I know you're over in the States at the moment, and I was just wondering what the business mindset is over there, especially in San Fran where you're based. What are people thinking?
Well, I don't really mess too much with many business crew over here, except for the couple that I'm kind of working with. I'm not like in the city and all that.
All right.
But what could I say? I would say that there's now probably a real fear that the economic pressures on society will clearly overshadow the health at a certain point because they need to get back to business or it goes into more than a depression. Simultaneously, I think there's just not unity like there is in New Zealand. New Zealand is so unified at almost every level. Yes, there's a couple of muppets that are doing dumb shit, but if you take the macro view about it of what's happened to the so many parts of the world, New Zealand should be so proud of itself. New Zealand should be super, super proud of itself. Just put on the TV and look at any of these other countries that are stuffing this shit up. Like it is gnarly, and I think collectively it's brought together culture, community, and commerce.
Yeah, we're so lucky being in this corner of the world. We're big enough where we can make moves, but we're small enough where we can like come together as a community and everyone puts politics to aside, everyone like
Totally.
bands together. I've seen so many initiatives happening on the ground here that whether it's from businesses or just individuals who put their hands up to help everyone out, because obviously it's tough times. It's a shame the rest of the world can't prioritize that kind of thing. Why do you think that is? What is it about New Zealand that makes it the way it is?
With this particularly, it was very much, let's look out for each other and get through it together. It was very much a together, we versus me scenario.
Yeah.
And I think daily, just the constant communication and the optics of what was happening globally, it's been making people feel like, shit, lucky that's not us. Shit, lucky that's not us. Oh, shit, lucky that's not us. So every day you see those little bits. Every time there's a bad story that's not New Zealand, you get more stoked that you're in New Zealand. So I think that's just consistently just been building. So, look, I don't know the Prime Minister personally. I don't know. I know homies that are homies with her and all the rest of it. But I think she should be very proud that she's gone through a flipping lot in this last 2 years. Jingle bells. So full props to her, regardless where you sound the political. I mess with Jacinda heavy. I think it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Any last words before we sign out of the podcast? Any last thoughts?
No, I definitely think it's a new day for a new New Zealand. I definitely feel that there is unity and a kind of unity of purpose around trying to beat this thing as a collective. The Treaty of Waitangi brought together culture and community, and now it's Corona's COVID-19's brought together, culture, community, and commerce, which is the first time ever. So for a shitty reason why, I think it's quite a very powerful thing. And obviously, people have been sick and people have died, and it's like that's all real shit. So let's not, take that for granted. But I think we should be pretty proud of a nation that has prioritized the way it has and actually bandied together the way it has, and that makes me very hopeful for the future of New Zealand. Boom,
mic drop. Robett, you're amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. If you ever need help with anything, reach out. You're the real deal. Keep it up.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks, Jase. All right, and to everyone else, just be safe, be good, keep smiling. Thanks, brother.
Awesome. Peace out.
See you, bro. Peace.